Hi everybody, welcome to Live with Chaudhry here in Minneapolis for ASMS 2022. I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Flanagan from Peak Scientific. And actually Mark and I last did one of these interviews in San Diego for ASMS 2018 when we were overlooking the bay and the sun shining down on us. It's slightly different here in Minneapolis, although it is a lovely sunny day today. So Mark, first of all, it's lovely to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's very good to catch up again.
Well, it's lovely to see you, my friend. I know you've had a really busy week. We've got a lot of things to talk about. First thing though, for those people not familiar with Peak Scientific, would you mind just giving me a very quick overview of who Peak Scientific are and what you do as a business?
Of course, yeah. Peak Scientific, we are a gas generator manufacturer based in the UK, but supply mainly systems for LCMS and for GC as a global supplier, working very closely with most of the instrument manufacturers and supporting our product at customer sites pretty much in every country around the world.
Brilliant. Now, as I said, the last time you and I actually met in person was 2018, but the last ASMS you were at and I were at were 2019. And obviously since then, we've had that period of the pandemic where people were in lockdown, there weren't any other events and so on, and companies had to adapt very quickly, both internally and externally, in how they work. So obviously now we're back to live events though, but how did the pandemic impact your business? And also coming out of it, how has the business changed?
I think, in many ways, San Diego seems like a couple of weeks ago in the sense that, business kind of froze for a period. In other ways, so much has changed over such a short space of time. The last 2 or 3 years, we've gone through, I think, a series of phases of adapting with COVID. I think the obvious challenge for us in terms of our business is the direct contact with the customers and customer sites. One of our key propositions is getting out to support the equipment globally on customer site. With the freedom of movement restrictions and being able to access and get out and sort of stay close to customers, I think through 2020 that was by far and away our biggest challenge, being able to deliver the service that our customers expect. As we moved towards into last year, I think the business challenges started to manifest themselves in different ways.
Right.
Both in terms of the unpredictable nature of the market. I think what we were caught almost much as many of our partners caught in terms of meeting the demand of the market, particularly towards the end of 2020 and into 2021. Keeping up with that demand for our products and services. Also, I think that natural chemistry between supplier and customer, and we've found that, I think that's been the main challenge, is in staying close to the market and understanding customers' needs. I think they have changed dramatically in the past couple of years in terms of an expectation for responsiveness. That demand.
When you say changed in terms of, what do you mean by that?
I think there has been an expectation for immediate support, and in many ways the patience of the market has changed a lot, and I think sort of expectations for responding to customers' needs are more and more acute than they were before. I think the level of busyness within our working lives and within those of our customers seems to have escalated. It certainly feels a lot more busy now than it was pre-pandemic. And I think what we are experiencing is there's been a period of rapid growth over this past couple of years. The world didn't stop, certainly in the world of life sciences. Challenges in bringing in personnel and growing our business while we're not able to travel and with travel restrictions. So being able to scale up at the pace that we've needed to scale up over 2020, 2021 and into this year has been a huge challenge, just to keep up with the demands of the customers. That, coupled with obviously well-documented supply chain and logistics issues, have really compounded things, just to sort of really put challenges on our ability to get people and product and material to customer sites whenever they need it, anywhere on the planet. So it's been a very challenging couple of years, but one of growth, and I think sort of there's a real sense of optimism that there's more momentum in this market now than we felt even 2018, 2019. So just thinking back to San Diego and Atlanta, it does feel like a very different marketplace that we're in now.
Well, one thing actually I was going to ask you was that I was fortunate enough to sit in to the Agilent press conference this week at SMS, and they talked about, which I hadn't realised, and you just talked about supply chain issues, the shortage of helium in the marketplace, and how they have now switched their latest instrumentation, GCMS, to hydrogen, and made that compatible to their other older systems. So obviously, as someone who is a specialist in that space, what are your thoughts on the helium shortage and the use of hydrogen within GCMS?
It's an interesting development. We work closely with all of the vendors. We have a good working relationship actually with Agilent, and at some point over the last 12 months we were getting a sense of some of the development that they were undertaking in terms of their new GCMS hydrogen source. I think the situation with helium has been typically volatile, over the last decade or so. It's gone up and down. It's been an issue, it's been the hot topic, and then it's sort of abated in terms of just the availability and the price. And I think for me this is another good example of where the market will drive the innovation in terms of, in this case, helium is another factor of global supply chain and logistics. I think it comes down to having confidence in and stability in your supply. And with helium, clearly we're back in another period where there's a lot of nervousness in terms of supply and availability. The costs are increasing again, and I think that's going to be a long-term trend now. And it's been interesting to see Agilent, among others, are identifying that. We, as a business, have been investing in developing hydrogen generator technology for about 20 years now. I think we're now back in a period where there is going to be that sort of leap over the chasm from a GC point of view, and seriously looking at hydrogen as a carrier gas option for the long term. So as a provider of gas generator systems for the analytical space, we're obviously tremendously excited about the potential to be another part of, in many ways, a partner to Agilent as a kind of key part of their supply chain, to be able to offer a part of the proposition to their customer in terms of our product, the generator, and being able to support that, give them technical support, partner up with Agilent's field organisation to potentially provide their customers with a technical solution for this. So it's something that we're very optimistic about, and we're delighted to be in a position to be discussing this and to work more closely with Agilent.
Brilliant. And do you think, though, that this will be a trend, as you sort of touched on it a little bit in your answer there, but do you think that hydrogen will become the go-to source then for GCMS going forward? Because obviously it's not just about the current demand, but the cost and sustainability and the other things as well. So do you think this is a trend now which is there to stay, that people are now going to gradually switch over to hydrogen, or helium's obviously still going to be a key part of their source?
I think, first of all, I'm not a chemist. From as a marketer, I think a trend, yes, almost certainly. I think that there is always going to be there are pros and cons in terms of the customer choice and selection between helium and hydrogen. The supply chain issues and availability of helium, I'm sure, will wax and wane. I don't think this is a permanent long-term situation, but I think what it is presenting is a catalyst for customers to consider hydrogen as an option. That impetus is there now to look at this as a serious alternative, and I think it's again interesting to see from a technology development standpoint, companies, the leading companies like Agilent, recognising that and building that into their product offering for the customers to ultimately make it easy to give that choice to the customer without necessarily any sort of complicated technical revalidation or switch. So will that lead to an increasing market acceptance of hydrogen? Almost certainly. And again, also a comfort level within many customer markets in terms of using hydrogen in the lab. And much like any of these things, that's an education piece. It's not done in a wham bam, thank you ma'am mode of, you know, sort of 6 months or a year and the market has completely switched. But certainly I think much like you'll see in markets like automotive, that sort of gradual shift from, you know, to EV, for example, is something that takes place over a number of years, but much in the same way. The last couple of years there has been a sudden shift, massive catalyst. So I expect we'll see the same in the next couple of years. It's certainly going to be exciting just to watch that.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, you are a veteran of ASMS and been to lots of events. So, how does this year's event compare to previous ones that you've attended? And also, from your own sort of perspective, what are some of the things that you've seen this week at ASMS which you can share with the viewers in terms of how you think the market's developing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I certainly wouldn't consider myself a veteran next to many of my colleagues. I mean, I think the first ASMS I came to was 2016, San Antonio, so fairly recent, but certainly based on just the last few years and other events around it. I think what struck me, I mean, ASMS is the premier event for us in terms of our business is very much focused, our core competency is on mass spec and on supporting the LCMS community. So it gives us a good sense of just what the appetite is. I think sort of first of all seeing the footfall, a real sense of a bit of a reboot or return to normal. It's been great to see some of the product launches and the volume and the traction of innovation as opposed to just sort of getting back onto getting to events. I think the value for us is also in reconnecting directly on a individual level with our users, just to get a real sense of whether their needs are as they were, and in many cases they are changing. And you know, when you're kind of stuck in isolation as businesses, I think sort of it's really important to have those individual conversations to find out what are their pain points, what are their perceptions of the various technologies that are available, and it gives us a chance just to make sure that we're a little piece of the jigsaw, you know, for the customer solution, and just making sure that piece is the right shape to fit our customers' needs, and to also work very closely with. We work with you know, all of the major brands, mass spec manufacturers. So giving us a good sense, and I think that's been for the last couple of days really energising, just to get back out, get out of the home office, and sort of revalidate what we think we need to be doing to support them, and to make sure that we're delighting customers. So it's been, and there is a real energy. I think there's been a real pent-up enthusiasm. Unfortunately, did not make it across to the Philadelphia event in November. So as you say, it's been you know, 3 or 4 years since we last met. So it feels like that level of energy and innovative thinking and curiosity is certainly here in strength again.
Fantastic. And so finally, I mean, just on ASMS, I mean, from a peak scientific perspective, what are some of the things what's some of the points you'd like to leave viewers with in terms of you as a business and what they can learn more about?
I think, you know, we've gone on a tremendous journey. The business is 25 years old this year, so we've gone from, thank you. I think, you know, the last 5 or so years has been I think a real transition of the business, is going from one of many suppliers, and I think Peak Scientific is now going through a journey as not just being an equipment manufacturer, a component supplier, but really being a partner with taking a vested interest in our customers' outcomes.
Sure.
You know, that means directly with our laboratory customers and end users, key accounts, individuals, as well as working very closely with the mass spec and GC vendors as part of their overall proposition. And that's something that I think what stands Peak apart is that we are a partner to our customers. Very much service, customer service, and sort of long-term success of the product is really what we're all about. So really excited and optimistic about the way that the market is developing at the moment. So
fantastic. And where can people meet Peak Scientific in person in the near future?
Yeah, well, so we tend to be in attendance at most of the major analytical fairs. So I think next we will be at Analytica in Munich. It'll be great to get back there later this month. So various shows in LATAM, JASIS in Tokyo, which I think is in September. So most of the sort of major events that our partners and the instrument manufacturers will be at. So, and of course you can find us at through our website at www.peakscientific.com.
Fantastic. I know you've got a hospitality suite, so people can see you there, and also the booth on the exhibition floor. Which booth number is?
Now you're pressing me.
Yeah,
so that is 615.
Well remembered. So
yep,
there you go.
Yep. And we are in the Red Wing suite here in the Hilton.
Fantastic. Well, look, Mark, genuinely lovely to see you again. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to me today.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
There you go. If you'd like to know more about Peak Scientific and you're here at SMS, obviously you can check out the hospitality suite, check out the booth. If you aren't, then you can meet the team at Analytica. I think it's ICMSC as well, which is going to come out, and various other events that they'll be at. And if you can't do any of that, you can always go to the LinkedIn page and go to the website as well. So Mark, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And viewers, thank you for watching. Until next time, stay well and stay safe. Bye bye.